For the first time since 2024, I'm making a linguistics video. Shout out to my friend Mabel for encouraging me to actually share this with people. So this one's based off an intrusive thought that I kept having. You know, all the sound changes that make Cockney English distinct? What if I took all of them to their logical extremes, and what would it sound like? That's exactly what we're doing today. Let's get into it.
First of all, I want to establish what I mean when I say Cockney. This is not the entire history of Cockney English, so don't even bother telling me what I missed, but TLDR, Cockney was the main working class accent in London pre-World War II. After World War II, a lot of Cockneys moved out of London because the city had just been pulverized, and there were a bunch of shiny new towns that they could move to, as well as some towns that got expanded. They settled in these new towns, mostly in the southeast.
And then, soon after, a whole bunch of new immigrants came and settled in London, which led to the development of MLE, but that's a story for another time.
The idea of a future Cockney is kind of silly because there's no longer an isolated speech community of Cockney speakers, so there isn't really an environment for their language to diverge. But what if, instead of being spread out across the country after the war, what if every Cockney was moved to a remote island with no connection to any other language community? What would they sound like after a few hundred years?
Real quick, before I introduce sound changes that I plan to unleash upon Cockney, I want to establish the sound changes that have already happened.
H dropping.
This bloke won't haggle. Won't haggle?
TH fronting and stopping.
You're not going to thump anybody.
I'll thump him if he calls me big nose again.
Non-roticity.
But don't worry too much about the next time, alright?
L vocalization.
Give a whistle.
Wide distribution T glottling.
If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten.
Weird pronunciations of p and k after stress syllables.
Arms for an ex-slapper!
You lucky bastard.
Yod coalescence. NG coalescence. But common ing words end in n. A trap bath split. A super high trap vowel.
They can really make you mad.
A diphthongal fleece vowel.
The meek! Blessed are the meek!
A wide face vowel.
He had you there, mate, didn't he?
A monophthongal mouth vowel.
Nah, they got them up there, lying around on the ground.
Long vowels become short in front of historic L, and this weird north force thought vowel.
Waterside.
It's like a O.
Let's start with the consonants. Arguably, the most notorious feature of Cockney English is wide distribution T glottling, which used to be super stigmatized, but it's becoming increasingly common, especially in my generation, especially with frequent words, that sort of thing. So I was thinking, why only let T have all the fun? And I'm going to introduce wide distribution voiceless plosive glottling.
Now, every p and k becomes in the same environment as t. Sure, we might lose some distinctions, but it's not that deep, especially after nasals, which can assimilate to place before the change happens.
So it'll sound like lim, lin, lin.
P and k already have weird realizations in some words, so why not go all the way? It's probably what t did. This leaves us with voiceless plosives in onset positions.
But I'm thinking like, we don't really need them.
They're already highly aspirated, so I'm applying the High German consonant shift to them, turning p into pf, t into ts, and k into k.
Except for after fricatives, obviously.
Another notorious feature is H dropping, which leaves a nice wide gap in the back fricative real estate. So I'm going to pull an old Spanish moment and debuccalize f to h. And while I'm at it, I'm going to simplify pf into f, so we get a nice little change shift going on. I kind of want to get rid of all the voiceless plosives for shits and gigs, so I'm just going to reanalyze all the ones left as voiced, and clusters are also now voiced.
If it's good enough for Italian orthography, then it's good enough for me.
So now, we've got no voiceless plosives and no voiced affricates, except for j.
But not to worry, I've got a solution for that. Bear with. I'm not actually sure where this feature comes from, because apparently it's a thing in Humberside as well as London, but some Cockney or Cockney adjacent speakers will pronounce r as r. As a result, r sounds a bit too close to w, so I think it's time for another change shift.
Since v is not that common, I don't mind merging it with historic w, so now wine and vine sound the same.
By the way, it's actually really weird that English still preserves its inherited w. Most Indo-European languages have lost it by now.
Anyways, with this space freed up, now r can shift to w.
And this has implications for intrusive r. Now, w will be used to resolve vowel hiatus.
And since I think everybody needs a rhotic in their life, I'm going to pull a Proto-Germanic and shift j to r. And finally, I'm going to finish the change shift by simplifying j to j. Voila!
Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do with the consonants.
Say hello to the future Cockney consonant inventory.
Now the funky fun stuff, the vowels. I've decided to split up the vowel inventory into 4 categories. So first up,
the category is
short vowels. These basically correspond one-to-one with the classic like lax vowels, and in Cockney these are
kit, dress, trep, lot, cloth, strut, comma, foot,
So that leaves us with 7 distinct vowel qualities. The trap vowel is pretty notable because it sounds more like a North American vowel than a British one. Like, most speakers I feel would have a vowel close to mine. Trap, not trap.
So I'm thinking I'm going to pull a Northern Cities chain vowel shift here. I'm introducing the pan-pen merger, and this is going to make lot and cloth front to lat and claff, and then strut is going to round to strut. So now we have a neat little symmetrical 6 vowel system.
Which is good for me because it's easy to type. Now, second category, long vowels. I am making vowel length phonemic again.
Near, square, meth, nurse, bath, palm, start, cure. Square and near are pretty close, so I'm just going to merge them. Little cheer-chair merger. Then similar logic to the Northern Cities vowel shift. Meth is going to raise, bath is going to front, cure is going to lower, and nurse is going to centralize because I want my 6 vowel system to apply across all the categories. Fleece, face, price, choice. So the previous 2 categories have clockwise shifts, but I'm actually going to go anti-clockwise for this one. So the Cockney fleece vowel is super diphthongized, and I could shift it to I, but I want to change shift here, and I want to keep all my vowels as spread out as they already are. So fleece goes to flace, face goes to face, price goes to price, and choice goes to choice.
It's a shame ui is the rarest because I quite like that. And final category is diphthongs that end in u. And because of L vocalization, there are loads of these. And there used to be even more before the vowel length before L shortening rule. Anyways, we have
Fill, feel, tell, tell, go, girl, snarl, coal, girl, north, fault, false, call, full, fuel. That would be way too much.
Well, that wouldn't do at all.
So I'm going to do another massive anti-clockwise shift here. I'm merging go, girl, go. They are now gal. Merging coal, coal. They are now coal. Few and fuel are now fio. And force is now force.
This would lead to a feature which I kind of introduced in the oldest video on this channel, but I feel like I did a terrible job explaining it then, so let me try again. Intrusive L. So a lot of diphthongs that end in U do not come from L vocalization, but they emerged with the diphthongs that did. So it's basically the same environment that led to intrusive R. Speakers need a way to resolve vowel hiatus, and they'll overextend linking L from L vocalization to anything that sounds like L vocalization. So now, the descendants of the goat, goose, and north force thought vowels can trigger linking L.
There we go, nice little 6 vowel system.
As for the triphthongs, aya, our, aya, oya, oa, I'm just treating them as diphthong plus schwa, so whatever I did with the diphthongs, I'll do for them.
And here are all our sounds.
One last change I'm going to do is shorten every diphthong and long vowel when unstressed.
I'm just going to make this new orthography real quick.
Okay, that's all well and good, but it's kind of abstract. I want to take this conlang out for a spin. So with all these changes in mind, I'm going to read some dialogue from Cockney characters, but in future Cockney, or Cockney. See if you can understand it.
Boy, I never heard of you. And then I did it with you some little did it cry wise again, and I thought to myself so that. But then you hogged me over, so now you'll have my undivided attention. By the way, which one am I talking to? Who's the bass? Why, A's the oldest, you're the hittest. I'm told the bass is called Tammin, and I'm guessing that's you, because you're looking at me yachting down like I'm a hot and tart. Oh yeah. Hot yeah, look at this place. Now mate, now they. Don't change nothing. It's perfect. Exactly. I've been down in our bloody city boy chain fobs with the Laugals in the helm and this and Hetson in the lager, Earquishner in the Maya. Nah. I've wanna place that makes a difference. That stays. That's the ways not hell in love with this place. It wait a minute. That the hot savashing machine doing in a fob. Jesus. I need a drink. They are like cold flying without it holding Nazis. You can't trust fight it, Jeremy. You wanna know about me home, do you, boy? Intrigue you, does it, boy? My home? Let me tell you about it. I come from a long line of itchoiters, all with blading massive hums. You see, the hum is a tremendous bone to the itchoiter, else with it. You know what I mean? Only problem was, when I was a child, my home was tiny. Not just tiny, like a single sugar for disgusting. Even my own mother would wheel bet an hour, like an anaconda. What is it? Get out of here! It's tiny, it's our bird, it's revolting. Take your tiny and get out of here. We'll never dart on my door again, she'd say. I had to leave the Hemley unit in search of a militer.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed. I love historical linguistics and language change, So it was really fun to just like make my own language changes. If I ever do this sort of thing again, it'll probably be with MLE, but if you have any other accents you want me to evolve, then you know, let me know in the comments. Sorry I haven't uploaded for so long. I've been really busy. I had a lot of coursework and I was dealing with I did also promise that I was going to make a video on how the future hashtag freaks me out, and I worked on it loads, but I kind of hated it and scrapped it. I'm really glad I finished this one though. No more promises from now on. Subscribe if you want to stick around regardless. And I'll see you when I see you.
When's that?
When I see you.